Welcome in, guys, and as the regular season has ended, and we're again the play. I know I didn't talk much about the playoffs. I didn't talk about the playoffs at all this season, really. Post game, I didn't do any reviews of the playoffs. Don't worry, guys. Next week I will have my Super Bowl review for Super Bowl 60, Patriots versus Seahawks. Yeah, when I said the Patriots were gonna have a good season, I did think fucking Super Bowl, guys. I thought, okay, you challenge the AFC East and you'll get a playoff place. I didn't think of the playoffs though, but fantastic season and same for the Seahawks, man. So congrats to you guys, beating the Rams. I said the Rams and Bills were again ultimately uh the Bills didn't win the divisional round, neither did the Rams or whatever. But Sean McDermott's been fired, which is a kind of good thing. But anyway, we'll talk about that in a later date. Today we're here to do one of many scout reports for the channel. We're in late January now. You're going to see us tomorrow, so it's 31st. So I thought this would be the perfect time now I've got a bit of time now. I'm going to, around this time of year, I start sitting down and watching the prospects from college and kind of giving you my perspective on some of the quarterbacks, some of the prospects of the draft. And as we're edging so close to it now, we're 3 months away. I thought, what a perfect time would be to do some scout reports now. And I started with a mock draft, I think 2 weeks ago. So I'm gonna start off with my first scout report of 2026, and that is Fernando Mendoza. Now you look at the quarterback class; it's not the best. Dante Moores, I know I had the thumbnail of him in the mock draft. He's withdrawn from being part of the 2026 draft. It kind of really fucked him up for money wise. You could have got like a big shit ton of money for getting drafted somewhere. I know he doesn't want to go to the Jets or the fucking or you know what I mean. I understand, but come on. But anyway, so Dante Moore's not going to be scouted, unfortunately. I had it all ready to go, and ultimately he's not going to be in the draft this year. Anyway, so Fernando Mendoza from Indiana, they had a really good season. They were unbeaten. They won all 16 games of the They were like 16. No, they were really had a fantastic regular season. Um, Fernando Mendoza is 23 years old. Um, I'm going to talk first his strength. He has a great down the field awareness. Now, what I saw in a couple of his tapes that I saw, where he had a great down the field awareness. Like he has a vision of what he wants to see on the field, and he's not like a couple of these quarterbacks we've seen in the past, like Justin Fields. It's like they don't have the best of vision, and their down the field awareness isn't the best. I see when I look at Fernando Mendoza, you don't get that. You get where he has a good presence about him and he has kind of a good awareness about him. I've got to say, before I get into this, the games that I saw him in on tape were all Dominion, Kenshaw State, Indiana State, Illinois, Iowa, Oregon, Michigan State, Penn State, Wisconsin, and Purdue. So these are games I'm kind of going off of what I've seen. But yeah, he has a great down the field awareness. And then one of the things I do like on his tape that really impressed me is he stands tall in the pocket. Now, a lot of the times you see in like young quarterbacks, where they're in the pocket and they don't have the best body structure to actually stand tall and actually get out of that. He has great. He stands well in the pocket. A lot of quarterbacks you see in previous drafts and recently they don't have that, and I feel like if he is going to go to the Raiders or if the Jets trade up, I think they definitely as a pocket passer, I think he's great at standing, really holding his own against the defense. And again, he can show great maneuvers, and he shows great calmness. He's not like, oh my god, what the fuck's going on here? He's really good at really shifting momentum, maneuvering himself out of the pocket, getting himself, getting out of, keeping himself calm, keeping a calmness under pressure when he's in the pocket, and really he has, like I said, with that downfield awareness, he has a great, excellent aim. He had a great I love the great chemistry he had with Elijah Stewart in Indiana. I think they had great chemistry from what I've seen anyway. Um, and also that includes what I was talking about, like his great, downfield awareness and he's like how he can stand tall in the pocket. Like he's got a good shoulder technique. We saw that in a couple of games against the teams I mentioned, where he's like he ran with the ball, but ultimately he just has a good shoulder technique, which was great. And he's one of those like crunch type players where your team's down a few scores and you can just win you the game with that great shoulder technique that he has. And one other thing that for the strength side of things, he has an effectively he can read defenses in pre and post snap, which is again one thing that you're looking at from his tape is definitely something that you absolutely need, even if the Raiders or whoever you're looking at this in him reading those defenses pre and post snap has been fantastic. And again, when he's reading those snaps pre and post, he's allowing himself to navigate complexity in defenses, and he can work through like progressive instincts, and really can get the ball to the weapons around him. Now switching to the kind of weaknesses that I've seen on his tape. He does have an inconsistent when he's outside of the pocket. Now, inside the pocket as a pocket passer, he's pretty good. But when he's outside of the pocket, he has an inconsistency when he's outside the pocket to struggle when he doesn't have to struggle, and he kind of loses his focus on his accuracy. And sometimes when he's outside the pocket, and the defense are going at him, his big plays and his big decisions kind of they kind of let him down a bit there. But again, that could be down to coaching. Again, you again at that level, you're gonna have to be better outside the pocket, because again, it's okay going up against college kids in college, but you're going up against Pro Bowlers and Myles Garrett and all that shit, and they're gonna be turning you over a shit ton. And that's one thing that's kind of you're looking at as kind of a bit of a red flag there, where he's when he's outside the pocket, he's forced to struggle when he doesn't have to, and he just doesn't think about the bigger picture and the bigger decisions. And really, that goes down to like his scrambling. When he's scrambling for the ball, his percentage is really low when it goes to like scrambling for the ball. And then his mobility to evade pressure, and he's not really built as a dual threat quarterback. And his under center performances haven't been the best. And then the last thing that I had here is that sometimes he fails to hit receivers in the strides when he's doing deep attempts, like he's going deep attempts, and he's forcing like adjustments in the clean pocket. But really, people again, I've seen comparisons of like Justin Herbert. I don't know, more like to me, I feel like he's more like a Jared Goff. He comes across to me as like Fernando Mendoza looks kind of more like a Jared Goff-ish quarterback. Like, you're looking at a Jared Goff-ish quarterback. That's kind of what I was going off on tape from the comparisons that I've seen. Because we've seen it with Jared Goff, where when he's in the pocket, when he's outside the pocket himself, he can get turned over himself. So that was kind of with me when I was watching, like, yeah, this is like kind of a Jared Goff type. But so far, again, I'm only going off like one quarterback again. Going off only Fernando Mendoza. I did see a bit of, like I said, Dante Morris, but he was definitely, there is some things you have to improve on. His frame as well, you could improve on as well. It's kind of, I didn't take this on my notes, but his framework could be adjusted as well. But ultimately, that's my scout report for Fernando Mendoza. I will be back. I'm going to be back in a couple of days to do. I'm going to watch a couple more additions in this draft, like linebackers and all that other shit. But ultimately, that's my scout report on Fernando Mendoza. Leave your guys' thoughts in the comments. I'll be interested to see if you've seen him. If you've seen, let me know if you guys have seen Fernando Mendoza on tape. I'll be interested to see your perspective of him and what did you pick up on his tape. But yeah, thanks guys. Bye.